Every weekday, we put out a show about tech and content, short, focused, and actually useful. Pulling that off day after day means you need more than caffeine and good intentions. You need a workflow that's smart, predictable, and a little bit automated. AI helps me stay fast and consistent, but the takes, the tone, and the judgment are still all mine. Stick around and I'll walk you through how I make it happen, and where a tool like Vizard quietly does the heavy lifting. Music up. Step 1, gathering the headlines. I live in a feed reader where I follow hundreds of sources, vendor blogs, research firms, the financial press, indie newsletters, whatever looks promising. Anything that could matter gets saved into my editorial database. I use Notion for this part. From there, I tag things by theme: security, AI, product launches, policy, market moves, etc. I also keep 2 wildcard tags daily for one-offs, and good one for the stories I think deserve extra attention. This lets me spot themes. If there's a burst of AI regulation stories, I can lean into that for the episode. If it's a slow news day, I know where to dig harder. Step 2, organizing the production. I keep editorial and production separate, 2 Notion databases. Editorial is for story ideas, categories, and research. Production is for episode logistics: title, episode type, sponsor notes, and deadlines. That split is intentional. Sponsorship shouldn't steer what I cover, and production timing shouldn't skew editorial judgment. Each story moves through stages from idea to assigned to scheduled, typically on a Kanban-style board. I also soft assign dates to pace the week. No one likes 5 heavy market shift pieces on Monday. Step 3, building a research vault. Pro tip, I keep everything. Every article I considered, whether used or rejected, lives in that Notion archive. It's 3 years of articles, studies, press releases, tagged and searchable. Rejected items are still tagged as rejected, so I can revisit them later. That archive helps me trace vendor behavior over time and build longer pieces from a place of institutional memory. Step 4, first draft summaries with AI. Once I pick stories, I run them through a custom summarizer that I trained to write in my voice. It pulls full article text, condenses it into a format I like, a punchy lead, supporting data, and named sources. I trained it on editorial rules: spell out numbers, avoid acronyms where possible, and write for the ear. This gives a solid first draft that already sounds like me. But here's the key: I still rewrite everything. The AI is a writing assistant, not the author. Step 5, scripting. I write every episode in a Word template I've refined over the years. It autofills the date, sponsor bits, and promos. Typically, I script 3 to 4 stories per episode, sometimes 5 if there's a lot to cover. The layout mirrors how I think: high-impact stuff first, AI, market shifts, then product news, then the lighter or good one pieces that are great to highlight. I revise for flow and especially audio. That means cutting, reordering, tightening. I want every sentence to land when someone's listening while doing other things. Step 6, analysis, why it matters. This part is my favorite. After the news is drafted, I push it through an analysis assistant I built. It spits out 5 to 9 angles, flags overstatements, and suggests broader context. It's trained on my prior writing, so it often offers the kinds of questions I'd ask. But I don't follow it blindly. I use it to test my instincts and sharpen the take. This step turns reporting into insight. Step 7, final polish. Grammarly tuned to my style handles a pass. Then I manually trim for clarity, pacing, and tone. I cut anything that doesn't serve the point. The goal is a natural, conversational voice that sounds like a person having coffee with you, not a lecture. Step 8, titles and hooks, automated but checked. Good headlines do a lot of the heavy lifting for discovery. I don't try to invent every headline by hand. Instead, I use a headline generator that gives me SEO-friendly, broadcast-ready, and thumbnail titles. I also run an intro hook writer that drafts opening lines for each episode and checks the script for weak arguments or missed emphasis. Always sanity check what the bots propose. Automation is helpful, but it's not a substitute for taste. Step 9, recording. Consistency here matters. I use a teleprompter setup, record in segments, and if I flub a paragraph, I restart that paragraph. Keeps editing way cleaner. Bonus weirdness: I swap my desk chair for a stool when I record. That keeps me at the exact camera level I want, so every episode is framed the same. Little details like that matter when you're producing daily. Step 10, editing and automation. Editing happens in Premiere Pro with a standard template. I do the cuts myself, but automation helps a lot. Apple Shortcuts sizes my browser windows and kicks off screenshots. Plugins hide paywall junk, and AI audio tools clean up noise and EQ. The result is a consistent YouTube-ready video. And here's where Vizard starts to shine. After the long episode is finished, Vizard automatically finds the moments that will actually travel, viral-worthy lines, visual cues, and punchy sound bites, and creates ready-to-post clips. Step 11, social and distribution. My assistant helps here, but AI is a big part of the process. We use transcript tools and description generators for the YouTube show notes, and then we need short clips for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and LinkedIn. Before Vizard, creating all those short-form variations meant hours of manual clipping and captioning, or relying on separate tools that didn't speak to one another. With Vizard, the clips are generated automatically, captions are smart, and the scheduling hooks into our publishing calendar. We still do a final human review before anything goes live, no fully automated posting. Editorial integrity matters. Step 12, interviews are a different beast. For guests, I record on Riverside to capture high-quality audio and separate tracks. I also have an interview prep bot that pulls the guest's public bio, PR blurbs, and drafts 20-30 starter questions that cover multiple angles. I rarely ask them verbatim, but they're a lifesaver if a conversation needs a nudge. After the interview, Vizard again helps by identifying the best moments to clip for social, things that are funny, surprising, or particularly quotable. Step 13, multilingual and emergency backups. We actually produce a Spanish version of the show, not as a gimmick, but as a reach effort. Tools that do voice cloning can sound uncanny. Some are great, some are robotic. We use voice tech that's labeled as AI generated and distributed on separate feeds so Spanish-speaking listeners can opt in. And yes, I have an AI avatar backup for emergencies, a voice-cloned version of my intro for travel days or sudden laryngitis. It's clearly labeled and used rarely, but it's part of an accessibility plan. Now, let's compare tools honestly. There are a lot of products pitched as automated clip makers. Some are expensive, others require endless manual tagging or have clumsy UX that slows you down. Tools like generic clip extractors can miss context. They'll pull a 10-second snippet that looks flashy but makes no sense without the setup. Scheduling-only platforms often force you into rigid templates and don't actually pick the best moments from your content. Premiere and manual clipping are powerful but slow, and hiring an editor for every short isn't scalable unless you're flush with cash. Vizard sits in the sweet spot. It actually analyzes the long-form content to find the parts that perform, memorable lines, punchy visual moments, and audience hooks, then turns them into platform-ready clips with captions and aspect ratios. The auto-schedule feature means once I set how often I want content posted, Vizard will queue it up intelligently instead of me micromanaging daily posts. And the content calendar lets me see, tweak, and publish clips across platforms from one interface. That combination, smart clip detection plus scheduling plus a unified calendar, saves me hours every week so I can spend more time on ideas and less on clipping. Does Vizard do everything perfectly? No tool does. Sometimes it surfaces a clip that needs a tiny edit, or captions need a quick fix for proper nouns. But the time saved on the 80% of the work is massive. Compared to some competitors who charge per clip or lock you into manual workflows, Vizard's approach feels built for creators who want scale without losing editorial control. Why does this whole system work? Because I spent years testing tools, building templates, and training the parts that needed training. It's not plug and play. Successful automation requires knowing where machines help and where humans must lead. Don't ask if AI will replace you. Ask which parts of your process can be supported so you can focus on the decisions and creativity that actually matter. I talk about these workflows a lot because transparency matters. If you want to know how the sausage is made, I'm happy to show you. And if you're a creator wondering how to scale short-form output from long videos without burning out or outsourcing everything, Vizard is one of the best practical options I've used. It automates the tedious bits while leaving the strategic choices to you. If you've got questions about any part of this workflow, or want tips on integrating Vizard with Notion, Premiere, or your scheduling stack, drop a comment or reach out on social. I answer listener questions on our midweek live show, and I'll happily walk through specific setups. The daily show is produced under our ethics and transparency guidelines. If the content helped you, subscribe or follow on your favorite platform. It's free and it helps us keep experimenting. If you'd like early access or bonus content, check out our Patreon. And if you want to advertise or collaborate, there's a page for that too. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next episode. More workflow tips, more tools, and fewer manual clip edits thanks to Vizard. Heat, part of our network. End.